Is UN still the guardian of peace or just global bystander? In 2025, Ukraine burns, Gaza bleeds, Sudan starves. Today's wars are not just civil wars, they are proxy wars. Ordinary people ask why UN exists if wars rage on. UN, guardian of peace or global bystander. The United Nations was born out of the ashes of World War II. A promise, a dream to serve succeeding generations from the scourge of war. But in 2025, Ukraine burns, Gaza bleeds, Sudan starves, Myanmar resists, and many proxy wars spread like wildlife. So we must ask, is UN still the guardian of peace or just global bystander? The promise of the UN, 1945, nations gathered in San Francisco. A world exhausted by two world wars. The UN charity, collective security, human rights, peace. But history is cruel. Since 1945, over 200 conflicts have erupted. Millions dead, millions displaced. Was it a failure or was the dream too big from the beginning? Success that shaped hope. Korean War armistice. Decolonization of Asia and Africa supported by the UN. Humanitarian victories. Polio eradication. Relief campaign. Protects climate agreements. For a moment, the UN mattered. It felt like the world's conscience. But then came the cracks. The veto, power that paralyzed. The Security Council, 5 permanent members, US, Russia, UK, China, France, each with magic word, the veto. One word and the resolutions died. Ceasefire blocked, genocides ignored, war prolonged. In Ukraine, Russia veto. In Gaza, the US veto. In Sudan, multiple vetoes. How can peace survive when power trumps justice? The age of the proxy wars. Today's wars are not just civil wars, they are proxy wars. Great power pulling strings. Ukraine, NATO versus Russia. Yemen, Saudi versus Iran. Myanmar, China's shadows and Western pressures. Sudan, regional warlords with foreign backers. And the UN, watching, appealing, condemning, but powerless to stop their puppets. Humanitarian UN versus political UN. Let's be fair. When families flee, it's UNCHR setting up tents. When children starve, it's UNICEF serving milk. The humanitarian UN work, but political UN falls. Two faces, one trusted, one break. The people's question. Ordinary people ask why UN exists if wars rage on. Why call it peacekeeping when it is keep no peace? Why trust resolutions when they are voted into dust? The UN is not irrelevant, but it is paralyzed. It is trapped. It is forum, not a force. The future, reform or irrelevance. The world has changed, but UN hasn't. 1945 UN still ruled the 2025. Where is India? Where is Africa? Where is Latin America? Where is the voice of the global South? If the UN doesn't reform, it risks becoming a relic, a museum of speech, a stage of hypocrisy. So we return to the question, the UN, guardian of peace or global bystander? The answer is not in the New York, it's in the war rage on. The power that divides and the courage of nation to demand change. Because peace is not come from promises. It will only come when powers serve humanity. This is the trial of the UN. If you believe peace needs a new voice, subscribe this channel for new episodes in this series. Together, let's question power, demand accountability.